Hello everybody, and thank you for clicking on the video. What we're here about to find out is what's coming in 11.1.7. We're going to hear it straight from the Comeback Kids. They're going to tell you that this is one of the largest patches they've seen, and everything is going to change how we play. So let's get into it. Let's see what they have for us.
Okay, the War Within's final patch for Season 2 will change everything about how we play World of Warcraft. We have a brand new combat assistant mode to help you with your rotations, and a one-button rotational helper for accessibility. Brand new ways to gear up and level up incredibly fast with the Turbulent Time Ways event. The new Arathi Highlands campaign that featured 2 new chapters with cosmetic and story rewards tied to them. And speaking of story, the brand new Lore Walker Cho iconic lore story mode missions that take you through time to experience some of the most important moments throughout the history of all of Warcraft. The Greedy Emissary event with all the rewards and how to quickly earn them as fast as possible, and last but not least, the big addition, which is the Overcharged Delves, and how this hints at something much bigger in the future. There is a massive amount of content coming in this patch, and today we're going to be breaking it all down for you with the final update for Season 2. Let's get into it. The release date for this patch has officially been confirmed, and it's coming very soon. And by soon, we mean June 17th, which is a little over a week away. This was confirmed by Blizzard over on Wowhead, and it looks like they're sticking to their 8-week cadence of patch releases. That's not only giving us a clear target for this patch, but a pretty solid window of when patch 11.2 is likely to launch also, which...
And what do you guys think about that? Let me know down in the comments. What I'm thinking is that it's going to be early August. I still am sticking with early August. I believe that it's going to be Season 3. We're going to be looking forward to it. I'm about ready. It kind of the 8-week cadence doesn't seem like it's really that long when you look at the whole scheme of it, you know. But Season 2 is seeming like it's just getting a little long in the tooth, if you will, getting a little bit long in the tooth. So what I want to, when I see these new drops for 11.1.5, 11.1.7, there doesn't seem to be enough meat on the bone. You know, I believe myself, just personally, there should be more story in the game so you can actually draw that out. But we as WoW players seem to chew up all the content very fast. Now, one of the things that they did different for 11.1.5 is that they have time gated it, and then they time gated the time gating content. So it's really unfortunate because I don't think it's been well received. As you're seeing, Dastardly Duos is not having the reception that everybody, what Blizzard would like to have. So they're gonna have to start rethinking of it. Next thing is that when they're releasing these, they're very buggy. So I have taken it upon myself to not play them in the very first week, because as you'll see and as you'll hear around the community, they're broken, and Blizz needs to maybe get that in order so that this way they're not having such a poor rollout of their content, and then the community themselves aren't giving them bad word of mouth, because that spreads across the whole community. You know, it's one of those things. Another thing is when you went into the Dastardly Duos, your gear was supposed to be leveled out for those below and those higher at 619. But people were taking it upon themselves to throw on some of their artifact powers from Legion, which then Blizzard said, no, tried to fix it, and now you're getting one-shot by these bosses. So there are little things that Blizzard is trying to do but need to do better at.
Which of course is the last major seasonal update before we transition into midnight. So yes, mark your calendars, June 17th is the big day when this all starts. Now, the first event hitting the ground running with this patch is going to be the return of the Turbulent Time Ways. This is a rotating time-walking meta event, and if you've ever done it before, this is a weekly system where different expansions become the focus for time walking, and it's packed with boosted XP, high-value loot, and some limited time cosmetics. Each week will feature different expansions like you see on screen here, and they rotate for about 6 to 7 weeks, lining up perfectly with when we expect 11.2 to drop, which is likely to be around August 5th. Right off the bat, one of the biggest reasons to participate in this is the XP bonus. When you log in, you'll get a buff called the Knowledge of the Time Ways, which gives you 5% base XP increase. The idea is that you run 4 time-walking dungeons, and this will stack up and turn into the Mastery of the Timeways buff, which will boost your XP by 30%, which is very big. There's also going to be a weekly chest to be earned, which if it's similar to the last Turbulent Timeways event, it will give you heroic level loot, so even if you're in the endgame, it's absolutely worth it. Blizzard also added achievements tied to this event, and if you max out these buffs across multiple weeks, you will also unlock a rare mount called the Chrono Corsair. This time around, we're also getting something brand new, which is the Battle for Azeroth time-walking event, which has never been done before. This opens up a full new pool of dungeons and exclusive rewards, including some flashy new mounts with custom animations, transmog gear, trench coats, weapons, and more. If you're a collector, this is 100% something you're going to want to jump onto. I'll also drop a link in the description below that shows all the rewards available during this event so you can plan what to go after. Now,
one of the things that we've done since we've had Mythic Plus, you'll know that we've gotten Toldazar, we've gotten Waycrest Manor, we've gotten what else? There was another one. Yeah. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. But we'll get to see the ones that we haven't been able to play so far through the lower Master Tro, his deal there. So I look forward to that. One of the things I noticed, because I just recently started leveling up a priest, is that when I went into Dornogal, I did not see the time walking ability for the lower characters. Now maybe it's not time walking week, but generally when you log in with your 80s, there are time walking dungeons there. So I don't understand if it's something that I'm doing wrong. Currently sitting at 72, maybe I need to be 75. I'm not sure.
One of the first raw bits of content we're going to have access to is the brand new Legacy of Erethdor campaign. This will take us back to Arathi Highlands, but sadly though, this isn't a full-on zone revamp with massive open world systems, but it does give you a pretty cool storyline of quests, and those quests differ depending on if you're Alliance or Horde. The idea of all of this is that tensions between the Alliance and Horde are rising again, and this campaign puts us right in the middle of it. We'll join forces with characters like Denath Trollbane and Faerun if you're Alliance, or the Mag'har Orcs if you are Horde. Both sides arrive in Arathi, and there have been a lot of issues stirring, and each faction wants to claim what they believe is theirs in this territory. Once again, you'll be seeing different perspectives depending on which faction you're playing, so if you have a max level character on both, it would be a good idea to do this if you're into story. It's a neat little campaign that takes about 45 minutes on each side, and while I don't want to give you any spoilers, it's mostly narrative focused and a side quest line that I assume is going to help us lead into some bigger things happening later in the expansion or potentially heading into Midnight. Now, for those reward junkies, let me break down what we got. Completing the campaign will grant you some exclusive faction-based cosmetics, where if you're on the Alliance, you'll walk away with the Storm Guard themed tabard, which looks phenomenal. And then if you're on the Horde, you'll be earned a very, very basic Mag'har themed tabard, which in my opinion looks pretty average. Also, on both sides, you will get a shoulder transmog inspired by Faerun's own armor. None of this is like a massive power progression thing, it's just a nice little set of story and cosmetic rewards for participating in the event, so it is completely optional.
I've got to say that this seems, in this expansion, that Blizzard is really unleashing is just unleashing on us all of the transmog that someone could get and like to do. I mean, I know it's been a thing since I've come back to the game. It just seems that there's more focus on it this time and period.
Being said, there's a huge part of me that wishes that they were doing more with this, like potentially doing some dynamic world quests across the zone, maybe a gear vendor offering Arathi and Mag'har themed weapons and armor sets, but either way, it's still great to see Blizzard doing this, so overall, yes, it is a win. Another bit of content being released at 11.1.7 is the Lore Walking with the Lore Walker Cho. Now, if you have any interest in lore at all, even in the slightest, this is a very big one for you, because I can confidently say, after going through a few of these, this is really damn good. Okay, so now what is it exactly? Now, starting in this patch, you'll be able to visit Lorewalker Cho in Stormwind, Orgrimmar, or Dornogal, and from there, you'll get access to a brand new questing system called Lore Walking. Essentially, it's just a storytelling journey through some of the very important moments in Warcraft's history. Now, this isn't just some old quests being recycled and slapped together content. Blizzard actually curated and remixed them into 3 different structured quest chains with solid mix of narration, cutscene moments, and some definitely big emotional payoffs particularly through Arthas' journey. This is designed to feel more like you're stepping into a story like episode on Netflix rather than feeling like you're running quests, and honestly, I think they really delivered. You have the ethereal story where you go alongside some of Azeroth's most mysterious beings and discover what's most likely to come in the nearby future with the ethereals and the brokers. You get to experience Xal'atath's storyline, which of course is one of the most iconic villains in WoW now, and see how she came to power. And then lastly, we have the creme de la creme, reliving one of the most defining moments in MMO history, seeing how Arthas rose to power and fell as the Lich King, letting you step into the past and confront his legacy. What's really interesting here is that you could start doing these quests at level 10 and onward, which means that this could be a fantastic way to take a break from just mindlessly questing or speedrunning dungeons and just absorb some of the best lore in the game while also progressing a character in a nice, clean, immersive format. This is about grinding rep, farming gear. It's just about pure story content with a little rewards for toys added. So I really hope Blizzard keeps building upon this, because for the new player experience, this is absolutely phenomenal for the game. I would love.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. If they nail this, it'll really help somebody catch up on all the many seasons and years of lore. I really do. They hope they do this well.
To see them expand upon this and get even new lore walks every other patch, like revisiting Illidan's arc, maybe the fall of Silvermoon, the story of Varian. I mean, there's so much potential here, and I'm really excited to see where they take this in the nearby future. If you're someone who loves World of Warcraft and this universe, this is 100% worth your time, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of it soon. Moving on now to by far my personal favorite addition to this patch, and that's the Overcharged Delves. Now, Overcharged Delves are basically a powered-up version of 6 existing Delve scenarios, and a very simple way to think of it is like heroic delves. There's some added difficulty, new mobs, new mechanics, and a couple other things layered on top to make it more chaotic. So every day, 2 of the 6 eligible delves will be called overcharged on your map, and these overcharged delves stay active even after you complete them. So technically you can just spam them over and over at any tier and earn the rewards, which is great. On the PTR, there is no time gating on the talent tree. They don't time gate how much resources you can earn, currency, none of it. So everyone rejoice, we're getting all of this right at launch. Now, you start a short quest line meeting up with Dagran in Dornegal near the Delves area, and this will start you on your journey to unlocking everything. Once you complete a few quests and objectives, you will unlock your Titan console, your belt, and even your overcharged Delve belt trait selector. The idea is that inside these overcharged delves, there are specific enemies that drop these Titan Disc shards. Every 100 shards can be turned into a Titan Disc, which is your main currency for unlocking talent nodes in a brand new tree just for overcharged delves. The part I love the most is that this mode highly encourages real exploration in the delve, because every time you crack open a hidden barrel, loot a bonus chest, or take down an elite enemy off the path, you'll collect these Titan Charge Discs as well. So Blizzard really encourages you to complete the entire delve and do some deep exploration in there. You're rewarded for playing like a delver, hunting through these caverns and solving these little mini challenges, and I think it's really awesome. Once you start trading in this currency at the Titan console, you can now invest these points into your delve-specific trait tree. Once again, there's no weekly cap on these nodes. If you want to go crazy, you technically can grind it all out within a week, if that's how much you want to do. If you unlock all the talent nodes, you'll even be awarded with a brand new Chariot Titan-themed mount. And of course, when it comes to player power outside of this, you do get your Titan Disc belt, which gives you a massive item level increase, and it's most likely going to be usable all the way until next season.
So one of the things that I've heard is this goes all the way from 684, where it starts, goes all the way to 694. The talent tree, now that part for the belt itself is going to be time gated. I believe it's going to be on a 4-week, and then you can have it fulfilled, kind of like they did with Cersei Circlet. You didn't get that maxed out all the way to 658. You had to wait and come back week by week. It did look like the drop rate on those little disc fragments by 2. We'll have to see how many we can get out of a single run to try and fulfill what we need to try and get one of those little talent nodes. So, and those talent nodes are going to be, from my understanding, the ring itself is going to be 684. There's going to be a socket on it. There's now stamina. There's now going to be your intellect, your agility, your strength, and then you'll have the different abilities you could choose between. I want to say 6 of them, depending on what you have unlocked. And these 6 are going to be things that you don't have to just use. Like I thought it was just going to be for the delve itself, but the ability and the power will still be able to be used outside of it. What else did I learn? Like I said, right now it's underwhelming. Usually what Blizzard likes to do is wait for everyone to, get up all in arms, and then they'll turn around and try and buff it up a little bit. Right now it's sometimes worse than having a 694 item, which doesn't make sense. But if you could get a myth track, they're saying the power level isn't the same. It's lacking, so they're going to have to probably buff that up a little bit.
This also comes with a menu where you can slot in special powers, so think of it like Cersei's Signet in the last patch, but just way easier and less annoying than gems. These aren't just delve-specific effects, they work anywhere in the game, even inside of raids and world content. These includes damage effects, haste buffs, mastery buff, crit buffs, absorb shields. You get the idea. You can unlock these by completing these overcharged delves one time, and they will be unlocked account-wide for your entire warband, and that goes for the talents as well. Dagran will also offer you a weekly quest that rewards you with a Titan memory card to increase your item level of your belt, so you're going to want to do that once a week. On top of all this, the system itself is just absolutely amazing for gearing up. Each tier 11 overcharged delves earns you 10 gilded crests now instead of the usual 7, so you can get up to 30 gilded crests a week.
Look at that.
On top of that, your new weekly treasure map, which typically gives you now 20, will now give you a whopping 30 gilded crests, which makes this by far the fastest way to earn gildeds in the entire game. Taking advantage of this every single week to get 60 gilded crests in a little over an hour is phenomenal for endgame progression and should be on your checklist. So whether this is for an alt or your main character, this system delivers awesome progression and is loads of fun. I feel like with Overcharged Delves, this is Blizzard testing out a way to expand upon this in the future. You got the exploration, the customizable belt, the talent tree, all this stuff. I like to think of it as a heroic version of Delves, and I'm really curious to see what they do in the future for changing some things and adding to it in Season 3 or even Midnight. Another bit of content returning is, of course, the Greedy Emissary event, and Blizzard has dialed it up this time. This is a World of Warcraft and Diablo crossover event that's packed with rewards. This event is going to run from July 1st to August 1st, and it's centered around, once again, the treasure goblins from Diablo. They're going to be showing up across Azeroth to drop loot, cosmetics, and other rewards, but unlike last year's version, this year has a ton of new layers to this event. So every hour there will be portals appearing in Stormwind, Orgrimmar, and Dornogal. You can even get lucky and trigger them by killing rares in the Undermine, which will also spawn a secret cow level to come out in Azeroth, which I thought was a pretty cool Easter egg from back in Diablo 2. These goblins will come out of the portals, and you kill them to earn a brand new currency called Hellstone Shards. You trade these in for cosmetic sets and rewards. At the core of this event, it's simply running around going to these portals, killing the treasure goblins, and collecting these chests to earn the rewards. These goblin portals can also be modified using the elixirs that the goblins drop, which add unique affixes to the goblins that you spawn. Simply put, the more affix a portal has, the more goblins you'll fight, which means there will be more rewards, which is better for you. There are over a dozen elixirs, each changing how the goblin behaves, and stacking more affixes spawns more goblins, so you just want to spawn as many as possible. Killing treasure goblins also drop Hellcaller chests, and the first 10 chests per character per day are guaranteed to contain Hellstone Shards. All of this currency can be traded at Baranar in Dornogal for Diablo-themed armor sets, specifically recolors of the HD Tier 2 models. Participating in this event just a couple of times can earn you an entire set, so this is something that's going to be very, very easy to earn and pick up very quickly. There will also be returning cosmetics from 2023 and even the original Diablo 20th anniversary event, which includes Tyrael's Charger and a couple other pieces of cosmetic.
I must have done this because I have that. Huh. I have no clue. I do so much in the game. I don't know, but I am writing that right now on my palette.
Which is great. I learned that your first kill on the day has a very high drop rate for rare loot, So the idea is you kind of want to go across all your characters on the account, do this at least once a day, and you'll be able to collect all this very, very quickly. So whether you're in it for Tyrael's Charger or that fiery tier 2 gear, this is a pretty damn cool event. And rounding things out for the new patch, we've also got a couple new built-in UI features that are trying to make the game a little bit more accessible, especially for new players, returning players, or someone just trying to experiment with a brand new class. First up, we have the Combat Assistance UI. This is pretty much just a visual overlay that highlights the next recommended ability in your rotation, and it takes account your current resources, cooldowns, and even the situation you're in. So if you're fighting multiple enemies or just a boss, it will change your rotation accordingly. If you've ever used something like Hikili before, or other rotational add-ons, it's just a simplified version of that, but now built in fully into the base World of Warcraft UI if you want it. The goal here isn't to replace player skill, it's just to give people a clearer path forward when they're learning a new spec or returning after a long break. It's there if you want it. If you don't want it, you don't have to use it at all. Now for...
Well, one of the things that I've recently tried is I reinstalled GSC. And what happened when I was using it on my Shaman, I didn't like it. It seemed very... Now I know there are different scripts. And if you want to know, like, what am I talking about? It's the one button rotation helper. It is the one button. You literally hit one button and it will go through your rotation. I didn't have fun with it. That's just for me. Maybe it was a bad script. So then I went ahead and I put my abilities back on the bar and just went to town, and I'm still learning my class. So therefore, but I still use Hikili. So when I was using Hikili while using this GSC, it didn't seem to be hitting everything that was using. So one thing that GSC is not doing, it's not implementing on the fly, and I maybe this one button rotation will be able to be smarter than that and change that for everyone, because it did seem like there was a longer GCD even with the GSC to be doing my abilities.
Players who want things even more streamlined, there's also the brand new single button assistant. This is a completely optional ability that lets you bind one button to automatically cast your next recommended offensive spell. It comes with a slight built-in global cooldown delay, so it will never ever be meant or be needed for the highest optimal content in the game. But it's perfect if you want to play more casually, explore the story, or just relax while you're leveling. I know a lot of people are freaking out about this sort of thing, and I was at first too, until the amount of comments were flooding my YouTube, Twitter, and other social media feeds about how great this is for other players because of their disability, accessibility problems, or they're just simply getting a little older now, and their brain can't keep up with all the fast-paced stuff that is retail WoW. Both tools are completely optional, and this is another step in lowering the barrier to entry for players who need more quality of life improvements. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, patch 11.1.7 is coming in a little over a week, and it's definitely set to change a lot of things in the War Within. A lot of people may think this is just a filler patch, but once you dive into it, there is a lot going on here. The Arathi Highlands bringing story-driven campaign, Overcharged Delves, which is a strong addition to the solo content progression, Turbulent Time Ways for a huge XP boost, and of course the first ever BFA time walking rotation. Lore walking with a brand new, fantastic way to experience iconic stories in Warcraft, the Greedy Emissary event, and all the new brand new UI additions coming as well. Let me know what you all think about it in the comment section below, and let me know what you're most excited for, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. One last note we wanted to make.
One of the things that I think is going to be phenomenal is that we get to see what this lore walking is and how it's going to give everyone the story. That's actually something I'm going to really look forward to. I know all of you guys are altaholics. One of the better performing videos that I've done is how alts are ruining WoW. And you guys are like, I like playing different classes when I get bored. I like doing this, I like doing that. I don't do this. Well, one of the things that I've been doing is I've been actually looking at my list of alts, and I'm like, when am I going to find the time? Now I know they've streamlined a lot of they've shortened the time that it takes to get from 1 to 80. And a lot of people out there will say that leveling isn't such a bad thing anymore. They've made it pretty much irrelevant. So we'll get to see. I've heard you can do this in hours, just a few hours. So maybe this way of doing all this lore walking will just help everybody get all their alts who just need a little bit of motivation. Anyways, if you like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Let's discuss down in the comments, and I hope to see you all in the next one.